It's really happening, guys, one way or another, by stimulus hook or by crook. This is your fourth stimulus check update as well as daily news update. Democrats crunch time for the mega $3.5 trillion stimulus package. All the stimulus this is going to mean for you. Tax credits for families and for individuals, Medicare expansion for the seniors, and paid leave for a lot of us. Still not enough? Then get a load of this, a $1,400 fourth stimulus check just for Social Security recipients. As in all Social Security recipients, not just for seniors. But wait, there's more. Unemployment both for federal and at the state level now. Wow, right? Stick around for all of the latest, and I definitely would not say no to you guys smashing the like button either. I really appreciate the support, you guys. It's always a big help for the channel, so I just want to thank you guys so much for hitting the like button, and let's go ahead and jump in. Things are really heating up, you guys, as Democrats are on the crunch time with their September 27th deadline just around the corner. We've already seen a lot of action these past few days. We'll do a quick stimulus cap later on of all of it later in this video. But first, let's have a quick look at how the big picture looks versus where all the key players are at. Here's House Democrat Whip Representative Jim Clyburn on the state of affairs in Congress.
Joining us now, the number 3 Democrat in the House of Representatives, Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. So dozens of progressives in your caucus, in the Democratic caucus, say they're going to vote no on the bipartisan infrastructure deal on September 27th if a sweeping $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill isn't also passed by then. Given the fact that you currently don't have 50 votes in the Senate either, it therefore seems pretty unlikely that the reconciliation package will pass both the House and Senate in just the next 8 days, don't you think?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Jay. Well, you know, we're all negotiating, and of course we have a pretty big tent. We have progressives that are very, very important, not just to the party, but to the country. And we have more moderates, and that's how it should be. We reflect what this country is all about, and we have a pretty evenly divided country these days, and all of us are working through that. So I know that everybody in our party understand that the country is at a point that we must do some things that we would not do ordinarily. And some of these things are going to be pretty expensive. But the expense, real expense, is in not doing them. We cannot continue we got to spend the money that's necessary to get beyond it. We've got to do something about our infrastructure. Bridges are breaking down all over, and we've got to do something about it.
But the progressives are going to vote against the bipartisan infrastructure plan when it comes to the House floor on September 27th, unless it also comes with the $3.5 trillion budget deal. You're not going to have that passed by September 27th, are you?
Well, we can't. That's my point. Unless, let's be sure that we never get to that point. And that's why we have so much work going on now. Our leadership is on this. We are working with everybody in all corners of our party. They're trying to get to a common ground on all of these issues. And I feel very comfortable that we're going to get there.
So you're certain the House will still vote on this bipartisan infrastructure bill on September 27th, and that it will pass? Or is it also possible you'll delay?
Well, there's always a possibility that the vote will get delayed. But the question is, are we going to work to get to our goal for September 27th? Yes, we are going to work hard to reach that goal. And sometimes you have to kind of stop the clock to get to the goal. We'll do what's necessary to get there.
Quick sidebar here. When I was checking this video out, I saw the first reply was a very interesting cartoon of Representative Joe Manchin. Or is it really him? That picture is definitely worth 1,000 words to me. But I'll let you guys come up with your own interpretations, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of Joe Manchin at this stage of the stimulus game. And speaking of, the latest news report is saying that Joe Manchin wants the stimulus talk to last until 2022, a very long 4 months from now. Back home in West Virginia last week, Manchin told a group of employees at a Procter & Gamble facility in Martinsburg he wanted to pause all the talk about the $3.5 trillion bill until 2022. This may be unofficial hearsay, but it does track with some of his private conversations about how he wants to impose the strategic pause that he mentioned just this month. I definitely wonder what could possibly happen in the next 4 months that he would want to drag it out before helping the American people. Manchin said, instead of rushing to spend trillions of dollars on new government programs and additional stimulus funding, Congress should hit a strategic pause on the budget reconciliation legislation. A pause is warranted because it will provide more clarity on the trajectory, and it will also allow us to determine whether inflation is transitory or not. Definitely not so sure about that one. But am I right, guys? President Biden definitely thinks so. Quick flashback here. Let's go back to early March. With President Biden's $1.9 trillion relief package in danger of failing, he called Joe Manchin and told him, "If you don't come along, you're really effing with me." And I quote. And we all know how that turned out. Manchin eventually voted for the bill after holding out some very last-minute changes. And here's where we are now.
It's Katty Kay here. Can I push you a little bit more on Senator Manchin? I mean, he clearly came out of that meeting and he has said that he's not going to support $3.5 trillion. Can you give us more detail on where you are? You say you're making progress, but where is the progress? Because without him, you don't have the deal, you don't have the bill. What are you prepared to give him at least some parameters of the discussion that's taking place to get to somewhere where you can have an agreement with him?
Well, let me make a couple of points. The first is on your question about progress. We saw extraordinary progress in the House over just the last couple of days. The House Ways and Means Committee reported out a package of tax reforms and tax increases that would make good on the president's promise, not only to restore some tax fairness in this country, but also generate revenue to invest in important programs. It wasn't everything that the president proposed. There are members with large ideological differences across that committee, and they're able to come together and work on a package there. And, you know, the question about where this goes forward, a lot of the focus needs to shift and is shifting in these conversations away from this top line. The idea of $3.5 trillion in spending is in and of itself wrong. There's never been a bill that has been $3.5 trillion in spending. This is about tax cuts. This is about investments in the country. And most importantly, everything we're talking about is going to be fully paid for. You know, traditionally, when we talk about pieces of legislation, you talk about the net cost of those pieces of legislation. That certainly was true with respect to the Trump tax cut. Even as you all were talking about the Trump tax cut, you were talking about $1.5–2 trillion. You didn't talk about the fact that it had $6 trillion in gross tax cuts. What we should be focused here on is what is this bill going to accomplish for the economy and what's the net cost going to be? And we're confident at the end of the day, the net cost is going to be zero.
Could Joe Manchin come out on top? Now here's what we think. The progressives definitely are not having any of it. Representative Pramila Jayapal tweeted earlier this month, progressives are not budging either as they prepare to block the $1 trillion infrastructure bill that Manchin was a central part of, just in case they don't let the reconciliation package go through the Senate. And we're talking about a caucus of almost 100 members, so definitely a force to be reckoned with. As Jayapal said, even if there were Republicans that come along, we will have more individuals, more Democrats who are going to vote it down without the reconciliation bill. Now, another option on the table for some of them is a scale down of the package. Manchin announced he would be amendable to a reconciliation budget in the ballpark of $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. House Budget Committee Chairman John Yarmuth, he said he expects the bill's top line number will be somewhat less than $3.5 trillion. We heard the same thing from our clip from Representative Jim Clyburn, so it may be $3.5 trillion. It may be really close to that or closer to something else. So I think we ought to really focus on the American people, to think about what it takes to get us in a good position, and then let the numbers take care of themselves. But this is definitely not going to fly for the stimulus hero Senator Bernie Sanders.
We worked with Senator Manchin to pass the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, which was enormously consequential and helpful to working class families in getting us out of the economic disaster that befell us as a result of. I believe we're going to all sit down and work together and come up with a $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill, which deals with the enormously unmet needs of working families. You know, we've got to lower the cost of prescription drugs for people. We've got to expand Medicare to include dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses. We have to maintain the $300 direct payment we're giving to working parents, which have lowered childhood poverty in America by 50%. And I'll tell you what else we have got to do. The scientists will tell us that we got a few years left before there will be irreversible harm to our planet if we do not address climate change. And the truth of the matter is, Dana, as you may know, many of us made a major compromise in going from the $6 trillion bill that we wanted, supported by the overwhelming majority of Democrats, down to 3.5. And the last point that I would make on this, I know that Senator Manchin worked very hard. It's called the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, $550 billion of new money to rebuild our roads and our bridges. What we have worked on is working both of those bills in tandem. They go together. And it would be a really sad state of affairs for the American people, for Congress, if both of those bills.
Progressive groups are behind him 100% on this. They're demanding that Democratic lawmakers avoid compromise as the measure faces a reckoning in Congress. The group of 11 organizations wrote in a letter, "All eyes on the reconciliation bill, and progressives need to up their game. We are in a powerful but precarious place. We passed the budget resolution with all our progressive priorities still on the table, but still have a race to the finish line as major corporations invest millions in a major lobbying blitz." Now, I say the juice is definitely going to be worth the squeeze once all this happens, because this is a lot of good stimulus that they're aiming for here. IRS tax credit, $250 to $300 in monthly stimulus check payments. This is per child to be extended into 2025. Earned income tax credit, $538 for individuals with no children. One qualifying child, $3,584. Two qualifying children, that's $5,920. Three or more qualifying children, almost $6,700. This could be expanded under Representative Gwen Moore's proposal to boost it to $4,000 for single filers and $8,000 for married filers. You could also get $250 monthly EITC checks. According to the text, the WRCR Act includes an option for recipients to receive 75% of their estimated credit monthly. Taxpayers may receive the payments by direct deposits, low-fee debit card, or check. Child and dependent tax credit. We're talking $4,000 to $8,000 in tax credits for the care of qualifying persons, and that means your children or other dependents. Vehicle tax credit, $7,500 federal tax credit for certain alternative energy vehicles. Couple this with your local EV incentives and car company offers. California offers the most support for EV buyers. Residents can qualify for up to $7,000 in state incentives through the state's Clean Vehicle Rebate Project. Some vehicle companies also offer vehicle incentives. The Omaha Power Public District, for instance, offers a $2,500 rebate to customers who purchase a new EV and home charging station. And here's more. Trade adjustment assistance programs. Investments in these programs that provide financial support and workforce development services to people who have lost their jobs as a result of trade. The committee boosted benefits and expanded eligibility for assistance. Medicare expansion. Vision and hearing benefits to the older population in 2022 and 2023 respectively, while dental benefits would begin in 2028. Healthcare Worker Grant Program, funding for Health Profession Opportunity Grant, which provides grants to fund training and education for professionals in healthcare. Elder Justice, protection for seniors and those with disabilities from abuse. Nursing home data staffing reform, funding for the Department of Health and Human Services, including a management validation of nursing home data and to conduct studies on staff to resident ratios in nursing homes. Child care grants aimed at helping child care providers improve their facilities, as well as grants aimed at increasing wages for child care workers. Retirement savings, provisions to require certain businesses to automatically enroll employees in retirement plans and to enhance a retirement savings tax credit that benefits low and middle income households. Parental leave and medical leave, up to 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave. So where are they really going to trim it? That's what I would like to know. Because the way I see it, this is all long overdue, and the American people deserve it and need it at this time. Am I right, guys? And don't think I'm forgetting about you guys on Social Security. The next part is especially for you. Remember the $1,400 stimulus check for seniors that I reported about before? Well, it turns out that this may be actually extended to all recipients of Social Security, not just seniors. We're talking seniors, disabled, veterans, surviving spouses, railroad beneficiaries, the whole Social Security alphabet. The Senior Citizens League is petitioning Congress to issue a fourth round of stimulus checks just for seniors. Yeah, we covered that. But we have to take a look at their argument behind it. They're saying Social Security recipients should receive a $1,400 emergency stimulus check to cope during this unprecedented inflationary year. Social Security benefits are one of the few types of income in retirement adjusted for inflation, but soaring inflation has taken a toll on household finances of retired and disabled Social Security recipients. So if Congress does this for its seniors, then it should definitely apply to the whole Social Security alphabet. Make sense? They added that in 2021, benefits increased by just 1.3%, which only raised the average benefit by about $20 a month. Roughly 86% of Social Security recipients surveyed said that their expenses increased by much more than that amount. Comment down below if you guys agree. Now, once the group gets their petition responses, they're planning to urge Congress to give additional payments as a way to supplement money that was lost due to inflation. Definitely some very exciting news here. Now, this also brings up the point why the promising 6% COLA could hurt Social Security recipients as much as it helps them. Now, as you guys pointed out in our previous comments, that 6% definitely doesn't go very far when you put it up against inflation. I get it. And as they pointed out, everything is 6% more expensive these days and is only the minimum needed to maintain the purchasing power that you've had all along. Now, some of you have mentioned how a lot of it goes to Medicare Part B premiums and taxes. By the end of it all, we really don't get a lot out of it. Hence our channel's exclusive newsletter to help you guys out. I'm talking about our 20 proof ways to generate extra income today. Consider this your must-have guide to learn all about the new normal, and most importantly, how you can reinvent yourselves financially at this stage in the game. Now, with inflation hitting the roof and the economic situation getting worse, adding a very convenient and solid stream of income is definitely going to help you guys out. Stuck at home? No problem. We have several ways for you to earn as well. Just check out our newsletter in the pinned comment down below. On to more stimulus. Unemployment may be back on the menu, guys. Representatives AOC and Cori Bush started a letter signed by 11 other Democrats to Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to express the urgency of including unemployment insurance reforms in the Build Back Better Act to protect the millions of unemployed workers across the country. Specifically, they want Congress to set a floor of unemployment insurance duration that states must follow, broadly include part-time workers, ban exclusions based on past wages, and require alternative base periods. Now, their point being, a strong and responsive UI system not only helps our entire economy more quickly and equitably recover from future recessions, it is also an essential tool to help dislocated workers stay connected to the workforce and to provide for their families as they seek new employment. Now, let's keep an eye on this one in our future updates. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to catch our next video. Definitely don't want to miss that. Now, while we're waiting on news there's still some unemployment stimulus on the state level for some folks. Workers who lost emergency unemployment compensation in some states may be eligible for continued aid by moving over to extended benefits. Now, this is a federally funded aid program that kicks in depending upon your state's unemployment rate. Listen up, people. This is still up for up to 13 weeks of additional jobless aid for eligible residents in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New Mexico. It says here eligibility for EB differ from PEUC, so you may have to apply for the new program separately with your state. In some states offering EB, like California and New Jersey, you may be automatically moved over to the program when you certify your weekly benefit. You can check your state's labor department for specific information about qualifying for and claiming your EB. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Labor Secretary Marty Walsh ruled out an extension jobless aid programs beyond the Labor Day expiration. At the same time, though, they opened the door for states to come in and use funding from the $1.9 trillion third stimulus check package to support unemployed workers. According to them, there are some states where it may make sense for unemployed workers to continue receiving additional assistance for longer periods of time, allowing residents of those states more time to find jobs in areas where unemployment remains high. This makes sense. But this means that states can use part of their slice of the $350 billion in state and local aid included in the March stimulus bill to fund supplements of unemployment benefit amounts. We've already seen states use their aid money to fund other stimulus programs like state stimulus checks, hazard pay, and they can definitely add unemployment to the mix. Check out our previous videos through the playlist section of the channel. Made it very easy and grouped the videos according to your favorite topics like the fourth stimulus check updates, credit cards, Social Security. Check out the space after this video. Lots of good information for you guys. Again, that was your fourth stimulus check update and daily news update. Democrats crunch time from the mega $3.5 trillion stimulus package. All the stimulus this is going to mean for you guys. We covered tax credits for families and individuals, Medicare expansion for the seniors, and paid leaves for a lot of us. A $1,400 fourth stimulus check just for Social Security recipients, as in all Social Security recipients, not just seniors. Unemployment both on the federal and state level. Did you guys catch all of it? Well, if you didn't, it's totally okay. You're more than welcome to rewatch this video from the It's definitely here for you guys. I'm just gonna leave this right here. And like many things, it's right here. And like many things, it's right here. And like many